I know we're all excited to hear from Shira Gordon, who is the product design manager of Horizon Worlds at Meta. She has also led AR/VR media design at Meta's Reality Lab, where she headed up work on Oculus TV, Oculus Venues, Quill, and Oculus Media Studio. Prior to joining Meta, she led multimodal design teams at companies including Amazon, Sonos, Hearst, and Time. Please help me welcome Shira.
Hello. I have been working from home for the past couple years, so this is my first time in a room with more than like 5 people in any real way. Everything has been virtual. I've been in VR with a lot more people than that, and so if I look a little shell-shocked today, that is probably a large part of the reason. So I am Shira Gordon. I am a product design manager. I have experience working across multimodal product design, including VR, AR, cross-reality experiences, and I am currently leading product design on a really exciting product, which is Horizon Worlds over at Meta. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that work and some of what we've been pushing on, a lot of the questions that we have as we move towards the future of like releasing this product and realizing the embodied internet that is the metaverse. So some of you may have seen recently, there has been a lot of talk about the metaverse, and specifically there was a Meta Connect event where Meta spent some time really outlining the vision for what we expect to see in the future when it comes to people coming together in the digital internet across AR, VR, 2D, with 3D holographic avatars communicating in an embodied way. And it was a lot of really exciting thinking. But the truth is, a lot of it is at least 5 to 10 years away before any of it is broadly available and widely used. But what's really exciting is that there are aspects of that vision that are standing today. And some of them specifically are always on real virtual environments that folks are coming together, not just in VR, but across realities. And so one of them is, you may have seen this is publicly available now. This is an image from Horizon Workrooms. So within Horizon Workrooms, people can come together and have virtual meetings, not just in VR, but in 2D as well. And what's really exciting is that those who are in VR have the ability to bring their workstations with them, so they can have a desk, a keyboard, their screen present while they are in these meeting spaces. And so this was just released in August. This is in beta, and this is available for anybody to try and experience today. I am going to spend more time talking specifically about Horizon Worlds. So Horizon Worlds is an experience that essentially brings together 3D worlds that are UGC created. And so people have the ability to build, to play, to learn, to explore together in ways that are really only limited by imagination. And so just now I was talking about all the things that you can do, right? You can explore and learn and play, and there's all these fun experiences that folks can do together, but the heart of this product is actually a creation engine that powers UGC experiences in the metaverse that unlock the world's creators by democratizing access to creation. So all of the experiences that you'll see within Horizon Worlds are not experiences that are built by the product team. They're actually experiences that are being built by the community that we are essentially tooling and equipping with this platform. So right now, the experience is in a closed invite-only beta, so I'm sure that many people have not had the opportunity to try it firsthand. So I'm going to share a little bit more about what some of those worlds are that we're seeing and what those experiences are like. Oh, it's not loading the video. Okay, we're going to try that again. There we go. So this is an example of an experience that is newer to the product and one of the more exciting and popular experience that we're seeing our beta users gravitate towards. And so it is a first-person shooter paintball game. And again, this was built all using UGC creation tools within our World Builder product. And so I think what's probably pretty obvious is that a lot of the experiences that we're seeing are games and game-related, right? There's a lot of early adopters, and there's a lot of overlap between that audience and folks who are interested in games and UGC creators that are interested in building games. But what is really exciting to me are the experiences that we're seeing other than games at the moment. The community is starting to push on some really fascinating use cases, and as we see the community push on those use cases, we are starting to evolve our tools to suit those use cases. So this one is a meditation experience. So the creator is named Flutter, and Flutter created a world in which she brings people in and essentially guides a meditation for them on a regular basis in an immersive and embodied way. We're seeing a lot of community hangouts happening. So you have creators that are creating spaces specifically tailored for the communities that they are serving. And people are coming together in those unique tailored spaces. But we're also seeing people come together using spaces and worlds that weren't necessarily built tailored for that community, just like very broad range worlds that communities are gathering in. And so some have a strong creator component, and some are actually reusing what other creators in the community have been building, which is really exciting to see. This is one that I'm very excited about. I am an art lover, and so we're starting to see a lot of art experiences. This one is by a creator named Paige, and this recreated a lot of pieces of fine art that you would see, and then there's other examples where folks have made these experiences much more immersive. So imagine stepping into a Picasso, stepping into a Van Gogh, feeling what it would feel like to be inside that painting, interact with a piece of fine art. And we're also seeing abstract art galleries. So essentially, not necessarily replicas of fine art in VR, but things that are being built in VR, native to VR, really taking advantage of the medium. This is an experience that I wanted to share. This is super unique. Essentially, it's a narrative experience that one of our creators put together. And then he made a trailer of the experience. And it's a single player journey, but the story that it tells, the core loop, and also the quality of the experience is one that we're really starting to see push the boundaries on what's possible. And actually, since this was created, we have added a lot of textures and booleans and other new features to our tooling. But this was, until recently, one of the more exciting things that we've seen a creator push on within the space, within the beta. And so there's like a journey, there's target goals. It's all interactable. And so these are some examples of essentially countless experiences that are available. But at the heart of all this, like I mentioned, is that native UGC creation tool set, which is called World Builder. And that tool set actually also includes real-time co-creation. So here you can see an example of like what that looks like, basically. So here we have creators in the world building the replicating building for a demo. What would go into that first experience, that first-person shooter paintball game that we shared earlier? So this is essentially what building that experience would look like. So everything is happening within VR, right? So it's not building, scripting in 2D, pushing out a build, putting on your headset, then making adjustments back in 2D again. Everything is actually happening in VR. And you can invite up to 4 people to co-create with you. You have the ability to tag people as testers so they can come into your role while it's in progress. And so this is at the heart, essentially, of everything we're doing with the Horizon Worlds product. So I wanted to spend some time talking about some of the questions that we are pushing on. What are the big questions that we don't necessarily have answers to yet? Because I thought that would be more interesting to share than things we have answered so far. And so the first one is, how do we truly bridge connection, right? We want to connect people to the places, experiences, and communities that they will care about most in the metaverse. And the operative word here is people, right? Not just folks who have VR headsets, not just people who have AR glasses, but all people. How do we connect them across the metaverse? And so that is some of what we've been pushing on pretty aggressively. What does it look like to have an experience that is truly cross-reality, and to have people in an embodied way in the metaverse, spending time together, interacting in a way that isn't limiting? And so we're starting to think about, what does it mean to have all of these realities and interfaces together in one place, but there is no second-class citizen, right? It's all essentially first-class UI. Every experience is unique in its own way, but none of them are better than the other. They just have separate affordances based on where you are joining from. And so these are some of the things we're looking at. What does embodiment look like? What does travel look like? What do micro interactions look like in this space, and how do we build off of that? Another thing we've been pushing on is, how do we enable expression? So we need to create robust systems and capabilities that allow people to have maximum expression in their metaverse experience. And there's a lot of different ways to do that, right? Obviously, you think there's VoIP, right? We have voice, like, what could be more expressive than that? There's a lot of interesting studies that have actually shown that many people, including women, are very uncomfortable speaking in VR, because women, the harassment rates of women are actually incredibly high. Women get trolled really aggressively, and so they enter experiences, keep themselves on mute, and don't want to talk, right? They also don't want to hide their voice to just sound like they're not women. And so how do we solve for that? What do we do? How do we make nonverbal communication part of the norm so that we can solve for people who are shy and not willing to enter a room of strangers and immediately speak? And so one of the things that is just barely scratching the surface that we've started to work with is emotes, right? Like, this is something that we've built into the product. It's gesture-based. And so if you are in VR on your Quest, you give a thumbs up, you get the thumbs up or smile, you put your hands up, you get some confetti, right? It's really exciting to see that. There's no opening like a menu. But how do we continue to push on that, right? And what needs to happen with our hardware so that it can understand and recognize what our users are doing, how they want to express themselves, and what are ways that we want to enable that in the product. And this is something that we don't want to just do ourselves at a platform level. This is something that we want to enable our creators. So rather than just building worlds, how do we let creators build forms of expression and allow users to communicate in ways that are really unique and appropriate for the environment they're in, right? Confetti may not be appropriate for every meetup or every hangout or every occasion, and so we really want to open this up to creators as opposed to keeping this as something that we are dictating at a platform level. Another question we're pushing on is, how do creators build a true sense of place? So we want to empower creators to build vibrant, global scale communities through UGC experiences and build social spaces that give people a sense of self, a sense of place, a sense of belonging. That is a tall order and very different than a bunch of disparate worlds that you can go to play a game or hang out or do something, right? And so one of the things that we're starting to look at is, should everybody who come into Horizon have their own home? And maybe you don't need to be a creator. Maybe you don't need to script or build. Maybe you just have a home that you can customize and make your own space and include interactive games and screens so that you can play and watch and hang out with friends and family and invite them to your home. Maybe you should be able to expand your home. Are there ways to unlock additional elements, additional items and features, right? Do you want to have a second story, an office, a pool, a backyard? So how do we enable people to continue to expand and customize their homes? Then we start thinking about connecting those homes. And so should you be able to connect your home with your friends and your family? Do we want to have shared spaces and neighborhoods so that you can actually just walk out your door and be at the footsteps of your sister or your best friend's home without having to travel in the real world, but also even travel instance to instance in VR. And so how do we bring people closer together through neighborhoods within their homes? And we're also looking at what that means for community. Should you be able to connect your home or your neighborhood to cities that match your interests and that you care about? And so these are some of the things that we're looking at and trying to solve in terms of the nesting of spaces and how we really make them more powerful, more meaningful, and enable them to build community. And then the last question, which is a really important one, is how do we encourage creators? Empowering creators with the tools they need to build and grow thriving worlds and communities in this new space is top of mind for us. And the underscore there is new space, right? So we're trying to empower these creators with a new tool set that they have never used before. So there's a lot that we are doing with our creator community right now in terms of incubator programs, education, tutorial. I'm spending time tomorrow with a bunch of creators in VR. And essentially, we also really are excited that we launched this Maker Fund. And so what is a number one priority for us right now in terms of our creators is making sure that we are building a very diverse and broad set of creators on day one to build the metaverse from their point of view. And so if you have a Quest, if you have a Rift, I know it is in an invite-only beta, but we are letting people in, and so I would encourage you to try Horizon Worlds and try joining our creator community too. It was a really exciting moment. There was somebody that was considering joining our team, and I talked to them last week, and I encouraged them to spend some time in the product. We were reconnecting yesterday, and when I went to sign on at VC, they sent me a message and said, hey, can we connect in Horizon? And I said, sure, and they're like, I built a world that I thought would be fun for us to connect in. And so within that week, they built an experience specifically for us to have a conversation. And it was a forest, and we were able to climb trees and jump through treetops and sit in a treehouse while we talked about this person potentially joining the team. And I got to learn so much more about them through that conversation and in that environment than I would have sitting behind a computer screen. And that was a moment for me that was incredibly powerful. So I encourage everybody, if you have access at this point, to definitely sign up and join the beta. Thank you.